roll.
Ms. Birch?
Here.
Mr. Butler?
Here.
Mr. Winston?
Here.
Mr. Eaton?
Here.
And Mr. Johnson?
Here.
And I have 650.
Okay. Item 3, discussion appropriate action related to approval of minutes of the February 11th, 2016 regular meeting. Anybody see anything on that?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Birch?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Winston?
Yes.
Eaton?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Item 4, review and approval, disapproval of financial statements. You want to sign the minutes?
Yes, please. Talk about financial statements. Item 4, make a motion to approve the financial statements.
I'll second.
Birch?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Winston?
Yes.
Eaton?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Item 5, review and approval, disapproval of claims presented.
I have a question on the transaction report that was in the packet. It's got on here Travis Shear and Justin Birch, 250, and Public Agency Training School, 850. How come it's not on the new one?
That was last month's.
Well, it was in this month's packet.
I don't have an answer for that, I don't know. You should, is it a, oh, okay, that's your bank statement. That's where the checks hit the,
What was that for? Was that for the school I went to?
yes,
So the 250 was for their expenses?
correct.
Was it, what all did that include? Just hotel rooms and?
No, the hotel rooms, they did that through that Army, we paid for that this time. Let's see, it's called Oklahoma Regional Training Instructions. It's like the Department of the U.S. Army. They get them for like $25 a day.
What was the $250 a person for?
That, you guys gave them $50 per diem for expenses.
That was her, okay.
And you want some? Was some of that recovered?
They will, they found out that the mayor signed a letter to be sent to FEMA, I believe it's FEMA, to ask for reimbursement of some of those expenses, and they should do that. Because of the distance they had to drive.
Make a motion to approve funds presented. Second.
Birch,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Eaton,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Number 6, discussion and appropriate action on Sperry annual cleanup days. Our annual cleanup guy is here.
I know, well, he's pretty busy. Mr. Stain came in last week and spoke to me. He is willing to head that up again this year. We're trying to have it in April. What we need to do is pick a Friday and Saturday. And these are best for him. The 1st, 2nd, the 15th, and the 16th, and the 29th, and the 30th. But he said he could work it in and do any weekend in April, but he would prefer those.
First and second.
First and second, or 15th and 16th,
Yes.
or 29th and 30th.
Correct.
I think we are doing first and second before the weeds get high.
You think?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go first and second. Clean up day, Sperry clean up day.
Ms. Birch?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Winston?
Yes.
Mr. Eaton?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Everyone's invited to come. It's always fun.
Is that an
Yes, sir. Yes.
Item 7, Austin Chapman. Discussion and possible action regarding payment to Sperry Utility Services Authority to the amount of $21,466.72 in CDBG funds for the OWRB REAP CDBG Force Main Improvements Project.
That's right here.
Well, we'd already discussed that.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion. At the amount of $21,466.72.
I second it. Sorry.
Ms. Birch?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Winston?
Yes.
Mr. Eaton?
Yes.
And Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Item 8, NCOG, John McElhaney. Discussion and possible action regarding possible approval of the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update.
And Mr. McElhaney told us that there was no action necessary on that. But he has brought to the town a copy of the completed update. We do have that in the office.
Okay, item 9, Cowan Engineering Group. Discussion and appropriate action regarding possible selection of Cowan Group Engineering as engineer for the Vision 2025 Downtown Sidewalk Improvements Project. Bill, for that. we signed the application, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the only thing that we have done on this, you guys approved the application for this grant.
And that was in November.
Yeah. So, since we have received the grant, I assume, then what you need to do is decide who is going to be the engineer and to accept the contract.
I thought we already did that.
You did it on a different project.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
Bless you. I'm not confused too.
and there were a lot of things that came up on the agenda with, is it Cohen or Cowan?
Cowan.
Cowan. And because they were involved in the force main and on the bridge thing, so, yes, you have approved a lot of things, but not in this particular project.
they've already done some work on it though.
Well, this is your contract for it.
Okay, it just seems like maybe we have the cart in front of the horse.
Yes. Well, the young man who was working with us on it, he's no longer with them. So I think there was kind of some, we got some things a little mixed up there.
But you already took care of this by now.
And I think we had discussed this amount, the lump sum plus expense amount for Callan before. Evidently, we didn't approve it. And that's for the $27,000
It's for the engineer.
engineering fee.
Application is where I got screwed up.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, I'm satisfied with the work that they've done in the past for us, and they did provide an overview of what they're proposing with the sidewalk and everything. So they've done some work on it. So I make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
Is that Mr. Eaton?
Yeah.
Birch?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Winsman?
Yes.
Eaton?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
And I guess we need to sign the contract. Is that
Well, you
correct?
have, that's the second.
Oh, it's the second.
There's two items. The first one, you guys just approved to hire Cowan.
Right. And item B would be the payment for it, approve the payment.
We're gonna sign his contract now.
Okay.
Is that? Yeah. I do have one question. May I ask a question? Okay. In here, it says on the sidewalks, there's 900 linear feet of sidewalks, and they're 6 foot wide. That's a huge sidewalk. Nobody has 6 foot wide sidewalks. Why is that way?
6 foot wide sidewalk, you usually have when you have something that's close to a street. You want a wider sidewalk so people feel a little safer in walking along the street. And this is gonna be very close
That's
to
probably
the
twice as wide as anybody else has sidewalk.
Most sidewalks are between 4 and 5 feet in width.
Every place that we checked was 3.5 to 4.
I don't know where that would be. I know in the city of Tulsa, they require a 6 foot sidewalk next to the street and a 4 foot sidewalk if you have a 6 foot green space between the sidewalk and the street. In the city of Broken
We still have some details to go over with Cal. What they presented is just their recommendation, and some of that was based on our input. We haven't gone out for bid yet. What it is a budget estimate.
True.
And that budget estimate can be changed or massaged, you know. If we decide, you know, that 6 foot is an overkill, then we could go to 5 foot.
Okay, so you can still change it.
Yes.
We can still change, we can change any part of it, because what they're providing is just a budget estimate.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's
then,
kind of startling.
does the linear foot change?
I don't think the linear foot's gonna change because that's,
That'll be good.
we're starting here about the town hall going
To
north.
put it in relationship, that's as wide as the trail. That's a
Well,
wide.
most of the
Yeah,
tra-
I'm
most of
not
the trails
totally
are
up
10
on,
foot
you know,
wide.
city codes. If Tulsa has a code, just like what you said, it's 6 foot, then perhaps we should consider that. You know,
And this is 90 feet?
900.
900
Oh,
feet.
900, oh, okay.
And that takes in
Anyway,
the
I just-
library also, right?
Yes.
you know, the path or the crossing across the old trail, or the new trail, the railroad track trail, should probably be more than 4 feet, and I think they've recommended more than 4 feet. And, you know, the construction of that is open too. They put a budget, I'm not sure what the numbers are, but there's 2 or 3 different methods of construction we could use to bridge that and still maintain and help the drainage out. Like I said, there's 2 or 3 different ways we could go. And we could even bid it 2 or 3 different ways.
True, you could have alternates.
That's right.
So, and has all of this been approved like by the Department of Transportation since it's on the state highway?
Well, most of this is not on the state highway. There is a little bit of work at the north end
Right.
where we're gonna take out that piece of roadway that comes, it's sort of like a ramp coming off the state
Exactly,
highway.
yes.
So
That was
it-
what I was wondering about.
Right. And we would still have to go to ODOT and get their approval on all that. Yes. But
We're
they
still-
won't- They won't approve anything unless they see something on paper.
Right.
We're still trying to get some funds from them on that, aren't we?
We could possibly get extra funds from them on that if they want to participate with it,
But we have to present them with
We
a
have to-
plan.
with a plan. They're not gonna just offer you some funds without having a plan.
Thank you.
Concerning item B, I make a motion that we approve the payment of $27,585 to Cowan.
I'll second it.
Birch,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Winston,
Yes.
Eaton.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, item 10 is opening and review of sealed bids submitted for the repairs of the downtown gazebo roof project.
I guess to begin with, I had a conversation with our attorney concerning this. And I was very disappointed, as he was, that I sent out, it was either 8 or 9 invitations to bid. I got one back. Even the person that gave us the estimate didn't turn a bid in for the job. And I think in his case, he just forgot. I had telephone commitments from 4 that they were gonna bid it, and then when it came right down to it, they didn't bid it. And talking with Jeff, it's a problem that small towns have, and I'm sure you're probably aware of it too, of getting contractors to bid work for a city, a small municipality. Some of it because of insurance requirements and the paperwork and different waivers and things, you know, that we require for them to sign. And I guess perhaps they was just paying me lip service by saying they were gonna bid it, and then they didn't do it. So anyway, I got one bid, and talking to Jeff, since I went through the process of soliciting that many people, then perhaps we met the requirement of trying to get enough bids, you know, to satisfy the city requirements. And the estimate that we got from Summit Roofing, that we went over a couple meetings ago, of $12,150, Jeff indicated that if this single bid was close to that, that we could probably, and I use the word probably, approve it. He'll want to take a look at that bid itself and make sure everything is acceptable. So I haven't opened it yet. I'll open it and see what it is. And if it's within $12,150, close to that, then we'll consider it from there. And I don't even know who it's from. They didn't put their name on it, so this will be a surprise to me.
I'm sorry, I didn't bring it open.
Looks like you steamed it and resealed it anyway.
Uh,
Looks like you steamed it and resealed it.
Well, you know, you have to. I learned that from working with Cherokees.
Yeah.
CPR of Tulsa was the bidder. I do remember talking to him. We're gonna have to rebid it. It's $19,900. And Jeff said that if it was, you know, extremely over, that we'd have to rebid it. So, and Jeff said if that's the way it happened, him and I are gonna get together and see if we can't do something to make our documents a little more user-friendly, and perhaps even eliminate some of the requirements, or lessen some of the requirements that it takes, you know, to try to invite these people to bid. Because this isn't gonna be our last project, you know, something similar to this. So,
Is that too small for the Cherokee Construction Group?
for the Cherokee construction.
You guys know,
I'm not following what you mean.
he made the baseball field down in Bixby and can't remember his name. It's Cherokee Construction.
He builds the houses and stuff for people.
Well, it's actually a private concern. I think you got
Usually general contractors, you know, don't specifically do roofing, they subcontract to a specific, you know, specialty roofing company.
What kind of roof was on it?
It's standing seam, metal standing seam roof. Now, the one that the estimate that I got is really within line of what my budget estimate was, and it was for the 12,000 or so. Unfortunately, we can't use that because he didn't get his bid in time.
Well, now can you go back and ask it, now is it legit to go back and ask that same person for,
I don't see why it wouldn't be.
no?
And I talked to him on the phone after I didn't receive one, you know, I was wondering why. He just forgot.
Have you,
But that indicates to me that he doesn't take care of business very well, so.
have you talked to Buell recently?
Buell said that, he had approval, and I believe he said a $15,000, don't quote me, but I think he said 15,000. They could be used for something other than the roof. It'd be for gazebo improvements.
Oh, okay.
So we could do some other things with that. I guess I have a question, where do we stand on the grant?
We did not get either one of them.
Oh, we didn't get the grant, I didn't know
Either one of
that.
them.
I didn't know that, no one made me aware of it. Did they give a reason why we,
Well, the gazebo did not qualify as a grant project under their guidelines. And since it was broken up, they said they didn't want to do the car either, so,
really?
yeah. Any,
Well, there's enough, you know, from the Cherokees that we can do the job, as long as it's under 15,000. And, let me talk to Jeff and see what we can do, and I'll put together another bid package. And see if we can't get some more people to bid it.
So no action necessary on
could you tell me again the price of that bid?
Well, there's three different, there's a bid and then there's two options to it.
Okay.
Just a minute.
19,000.
The basic was 19,900. And then there was some, he was gonna add some felt paper, wood slats, and something to make it a little better for 21,600. And then an additional ISO board that was, lined on both sides was 26,600. Can you imagine the roof costing $26,000 for that? So, I've been in that business a long time, and it looks to me like he decided I'm gonna bid it, but I'm gonna make a lot of money on it.
it. So we'll go to item 11. Jeff, thanks.
No. Discussion
and appropriate action related to bids received, including the possible award of the bid for repairs to gazebo roof project, and
What was the name of that company?
What's
What was
that?
the name of that company?
CTI, did I say?
CDR.
CPR,
Okay.
CPR Tulsa. They're a roofing specialty company.
item 12, police department monthly crime report.
Mr. Johnson, did you get yours?
No, I didn't.
Think you got it turned in after you did?
Thank you.
As you can see there, domestic calls 5, 3 arrests made on those, 2 were just verbal. Animal calls, we had 2 of those, citations were issued for those. The dog owner just didn't have a chain for his dog and just let it out the front door and run around. And was chasing the kids in the neighborhood, so. He did receive citations on 2 different days for doing it back to back. But he got rid of the dog now. Calls for service 11, once again, those are telephone calls or, well, it's not telephone calls because that'd be a crap ton. But, the 11 would be going to somebody's house, speaking to them about just anything. Just, checking on vehicles, somebody's broke down, making sure that they're okay on the side of the road. Disturbance is 5, those are all family related. One of them's kind of interesting, it was over a video game. Quite funny at the time. Suspicious person 2, it was the same guy both nights. We did identify him, get him taken home, but he was slightly intoxicated and barking at some lady's dog as he was walking down the road, antagonizing it, so got him taken home. No larcenies, burglary 1. That was kind of sketchy, we're still looking into it. The only thing they really wanted to report was their hydrocodone that was missing. They had TVs missing, but they really wanted their hydrocodone bill. Agency assist for 3, 1 was with Tulsa County, 2 were with Osage County. Most of it was just alarm calls. No frauds, 1 car wreck, that one was in front of the gas station. Involving 3 cars. And then 1 assault and battery, and the rest was made on it.
You say an arrest was made?
Yeah,
That's the one down at the funeral home?
yes.
Yeah. I don't want to let the board know, I want to thank the officer that came down, did an excellent, very professional job. Had a woman that was riding with 2 of her brothers or something, and 2 boyfriends got drunk, they got out and beat her up. She was drunk too, but he came down, he was very professional. I mean, it was.
I watched the body cam, she was quite a
Yeah.
handful.
Oh, yeah. She was an Arapaho or one of them weird, but,
Watch it.
oh, I'm Cherokee too,
One
but
of
you
the
can't, that was the first
weird
thing.
tribes, huh?
She wouldn't give him a name, but she said, I'm full blood, whatever it is.
She wanted to fight everybody that was.
Kyle
around,
wanted to
for
fight
sure.
everybody, yes, but that happened on our parking lot. I was there from the start to the finish. The officer did an excellent, excellent job. He was very, very good with her and everything.
Who was that?
The lady's name, I think. No,
Officer.
Justin Tall. Justin Tall.
Okay. Is that all you need?
Yep.
Purchase of 2 office chairs for the police department at $279.99 each.
This is just something I wanted you guys to look at. We got 2 office chairs that need to be replaced, they don't stay up. One of them was Mike's, one of them's been here since even before him. And when you sit in them, they go all the way to the ground, and you type a report, it's like sitting on a stool. And it's not that fun. We've dealt with them for a while, and I was just looking to see if we could probably replace them. They're pretty, this is what SkyTube recommended to me to think about, that's lasted them about 8 years now. Pretty durable chairs, they said. Yours came in tan, I couldn't find tan, so it's that black.
I don't see any problem buying 2 chairs. You want? Anything?
We're probably gonna need to replace some of these in here too.
Definitely.
I would recommend buying the bigger framed ones, that way they last, well, I mean, it costs more money, but it's gonna last a lot longer.
Says something that incorporate like maybe 2 or 3 new chairs in here or that. Maybe, let's see if we can.
If you bought more chairs, would you get a discount? You know, if you're
Office
looking at
Depot does
that.
not work that route. They are not too concerned about giving us discounts on anything.
I just,
I try my best with them, but.
I bought a
they usually
computer
don't work.
workstation at, I think it was L&M. It was L&M used furniture, they sell new furniture too, and they have pretty good prices on, and the more you buy, the cheaper they are too.
Did we bought some?
They're out 41st and Memorial area.
Did we use that snow?
Yeah, we so.
I definitely don't mind checking into it. I checked those
We got
GSA prices
spring break
again.
next week.
Do what?
I said we got spring break next week, we go looking at chairs.
Yeah,
Would you be okay with that
Yep.
before we approve this?
we can do that. I've looked at the government pricing for the chairs, and it is no better, so I just stay away from that.
Is this what you want me to look for as far as
Yeah,
dimensions and
just
stuff?
as far as framing goes, that way it lasts longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll table that for right now. Item C, purchase ink for data card printer at $212.
I put this under mine for me and Sam. We got the card machine up and going and everything, and then the guy found out that the ink for that, it was running extremely low. And to replace that, it makes 500 cards, but it costs $212. And that's probably more cards than we're gonna make in a long time, so something I don't foresee us having to replace that for a while.
It's a card for certification.
Do what?
Is that card for certification?
No, that's the cards that we make for the identification, as well as our commission cards and their accountability tags. And, yeah, she said it makes 500 cards is the average.
I make a motion to purchase data card ink for $212.
I'll second it.
Call for a vote?
Birch,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Winsman,
Yes.
Eaton,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jess.
Item 13, tabled from 12/10/2015, 1/14/2016, and 2/11/2016 meetings. Discuss and take appropriate action on the proposed meeting hearing to discuss possible renovations to Armory.
Now, if at any given time you want me to take these off the agenda, just let me know, and I won't keep repeating them. But if you keep tabling them, I have to put them back on.
What do you think, Roger?
We need to do something to make as many townspeople aware that, you know, we want their input on this. I'm not sure the best way to do that. It was suggested to me that in one of the buildings from Sousa, you know, that this be included on the building, a date that a town meeting was gonna take place. Is that a possibility? Can we make that happen?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand. To have it during the day?
No, have Sousa include that in their mail out.
Oh, I see.
In their mailing?
Yeah, they can put that on there.
And,
I'm not sure how you'd word it. I'm not sure how much they can put on there.
there's
Is it
not a
one?
lot of room, but, you know, there'd
We
be
can ask
probably.
Candace, she would maybe work something out for it. She always puts like cleanup days and stuff on there. She
I
doesn't.
think we need as much input, you know, from the townspeople as we can get. I think probably a Saturday would be a good time to do it now that the weather's decent, even though it'd be inside, but, people are getting out more. How about if I get with Kendra,
That'd be great.
sometime this week, this coming week or tomorrow, and see if we can't put it on there and I think,
Scheduled for April,
what's that?
sometime in April.
Yeah, sometime the first part of April.
Now, April, you have to be kind of careful in April. Remember, the 1st and 2nd is gonna be cleanup days. Then you've also got, you got prom, and you got graduate, you got prom and what else?
Prom's not until the
Baseball?
23rd.
Well, I think this would be a morning thing,
Oh,
you know, like 10 o'clock in the morning or so.
okay.
What if we made a flyer up to put out as the cleanup days they could hand out?
Yeah, because that'd be that first
Oh,
weekend. Yeah, 'cause we always put those out.
Make sure the churches get flyer, maybe announce it.
Yeah, it could be an announcement at the churches too.
We'll just tell Teresa,
Uh,
Teresa, the lady that takes the money.
Oh,
We'll make sure everybody gets one, or chase them down, get them.
Exactly, she makes sure. Okay, so, Mr. Johnson is going to check with Ken.
Guess this,
why don't we strike this from the agenda, and then starting next month, I'll just tell you another agenda item,
Okay,
and get rid of it.
okay, no longer table.
Right.
okay, no action needed on that. 14, Anita Gregory, discussion possible action on drainage problem at her residence on Stoke. Table from 1/14/16 to 11/16 meetings.
I'll tell you what my attitude is on this, we have bad drainage all over this town, but she's been the only person to come up here and complain about it and explain her whole situation. We put her off for 2 months. I think whenever Travis' guys aren't working on a leak or an emergency situation, that should be their top priority. Because why should this woman suffer with, like I say, she's afraid she's gonna lose her air conditioner, it's gonna get in her house, and she's been up here, it's like I say, last 3 months, 2 months.
And I've
Yeah.
talked about it for 4 years.
Yes. So we're gonna have to, I know it's a problem all over town, but
And I did not have that problem till you guys decided to get that people over there to work on your sewer system. And then after that, because one side of the street, they dug all of it up, put it on the other side of the street. Well, the guy went bankrupt before he ever finished. So that dirt sit over there, and then people come in, and these Sousa guys, they'll dig a little thinking they've got it. But the problem is, at the one end of the street, there's no culverts no more. At the other end of the street, I have a culvert. I have a culvert on the side, I have one in the front. That house that's abandoned has a culvert. But you move on, and Mrs. Cooper's old house has a culvert like this big. You move on to the next one, there's no culvert, there's no culvert, there's no culvert all the way down on my side of the street. So where's that water gonna go? Where's it supposed to go?
to dig a culvert, whatever it takes.
She don't have one at the end of the street to carry it on, Aunt Minnie. And she don't really have any water ever in that culvert like I do. It rains, it sits there until it finally evaporates into wherever the ground, the air, whatever, and it's becoming frustrating to me that, like, while I sit here and listen, we're gonna fix a gazebo roof that does not flood nothing, other than, because nobody lives there. No, you guys really don't do nothing with it once maybe out of the year. When that old west comes, I see very few, you can see where I'm coming here.
Yeah,
We got situation where it's flooding, not just mine. There's an older lady, her husband passed, his name's Hubert. I forget her name, bless her little heart. Willard. She would be over here talking to you guys because I went and talked to her, but she cannot drive in the dark. You guys, your meetings almost in dark by the time we leave, because like the last time I came over on a scooter, because I've been having surgeries, I got 4 more planned, and I'm not wanting to miss one of these meetings because I gotta get it across to you guys. This
I think
is
if
an
it doesn't
important-
drain, it's gonna become a health hazard. Sika or whatever it is, I don't want that. I'm sure she don't want it, I'm sure that baby don't want it.
'Cause
It's gonna become a health, I mean, it's gonna become a breeding ground for mosquitoes, all that water
it
standing over
always
there.
has,
It's
it
gonna,
has been for a long while, because we've already got mosquitoes over there.
yeah, I've seen
you know.
mosquitoes so, already. And what's
with-
rain is we're getting ready to do, it's gonna become a big problem.
And with us not having a good winter, they are, you know, and I look at, I have been, you guys I have lived here 17 or 18 years, right there, you know. I keep to myself unless it's a situation like this where it involves ruining what little stuff I have. I'm not a rich woman, you know, and I just ask, I pay Sousa every month, I pay my bill off. I pay Sperry taxes, I pay Tulsa taxes. I pay my taxes on that land for that new house to improve for your schools, for your fire department, for your everything.
Hey.
I do mine.
You don't have to explain, you've already explained all that, I understand your situation. I would like to make a motion that I will tell Travis that whenever he's not working on a leak like he is now, that's gotta be our number one priority, is get these ditches filled. But first of all, it's not fair to her, then it's not gonna be fair to the neighborhood, there's gonna be a mosquito problem.
Because see, that guy that sat over there squatting, I don't remember his name, but he's the one that's having the water problem of the high bill that he works for you guys. He said, yeah, if we fix that situation over there, then the water's just gonna run on down to somebody else. But after 4 years, I can't help somebody else's problem. I'm ready to fix it here. And then it's gonna run back here, like he said, to the police department. But then maybe you guys will get it fixed by then. Because, you know, you can give money to everybody else, but we can't fix the situation. Because if you try to fix my situation, it's gonna move on to somebody else. You know, and I guess I'm not screaming loud enough. Or I don't have enough money to get a lawyer to have you guys listen to me. You know, and I understand, because see, I talked to you before I started putting it into this town meeting, you know, and you kept on going, well, we just don't got money, we've been trying to borrow money from Tulsa County, you know, I can't help that, I can't help it, you know, let's fix it. And I'm sorry, if we could,
my mouth, if that's okay.
well, you know, when I talked to you, did you not say, I've been asking Tulsa to help me? And they've been putting us off.
Put
you know.
culverts in.
Uh-huh.
Correct.
And so like that guy was saying, if we fix my situation, it's gonna run back this way. And that's why I feel you guys don't wanna fix it, because then you guys would be standing over here in it and understanding where I'm going. Whew, it's getting awful close to the air conditioner that, you know, is new, and my new house, and, you know, it's like, oh, well. You know, for me.
I did go by there at the last big rain we had, and I saw a standing pool that's toward your back fence, and I didn't see anything anyplace else.
It comes
Is there
from that
someplace else
side
too?
right there and comes over into my yard, you know, because if you'll go back up here to, what is her name, Willerson or something? Willard. It comes from over that way, over into her yard, backyard, goes
It just needs to have an
Okay, go
engineer look at
to the Mexican's house, goes on over, across the street, into that ditch, on over to mine. And if there was anybody in that vacant house, they would probably be complaining too, because then it leads on to there. And when you get down to old Miss Cooper's house, if you look back over there in their backyard, it leads on over to there, but kind of stops because their yard kind of comes up after where they got them dogs in the cage. Well, water would be sitting over in there, and where they had that pool that they tore down, it'd be sitting there. And, you know, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, nothing. I'm a little tired. I'm a little frustrated. I've been talking about this for 4 years, and I've come over here. Okay, go get it, sweetheart. I've been coming over here and persistent, and I'm not gonna give up. I will be here even if I've got to figure out how to wheel me in, because I got 4 more surgeries to go within the next 4 or 5 months. You know, I'll have them wheel me over here every time until we get this fixed. Because we've got to do something. You know, I can't keep worrying. I struggle each month because you know. Nobody needs to know it here, but you live off $700 and you tell me how you do that. I pay all my bills, I take care of my family, but I have no more money, or if I had it, or if I tried through the Cherokees even, and they said, no, we can fix your yard, outside the yard, their ditches is their problem, because yes, I went and thought, well, you guys aren't doing nothing, I'll talk to the Cherokees, because I am Cherokee, and they said, we'll try to figure it, but they said they've already sent guys out that looked through that thing that you guys are gonna need to rent, and said that if we put any more dirt in your yard, it's gonna come closer to your house. He goes, what the deal needs to be done is your ditches need to be fixed. The city needs to step up and do their job. I said, I understand, but that's why I am the kind of person that if we can't fix it out one way, I'll try another way. But I've tried every which way. I've got my hands up. I'm asking you guys, let's fix it. If it means to where the water comes over here so you guys understand what I've been going through, then let's do that. So then maybe then you guys will fix the whole situation. And I'm sorry it's gonna move on to somebody else, but it's gotta relieve me for a while. I've got enough stress on my shoulders.
I think once we get your problem solved, and wherever the next problem goes, we just move right on down the lines, and we finally get it all solved. I mean, it may take a while, but say you're the first one to come up here and complain, and made it aware of this. I think we ought to take care of her first, then wherever it goes next, we take care of that one, then wherever it goes next, on down the line. Because that's what we're up here for, to take care of these people. That's what the main
I've
reason
only
we're
been
here.
talking to you guys for 3 months,
Yeah.
but you asked Glenda how many times I've talked to her. And there's been a couple times I felt bad how I got frustrated and I'd have to come back and apologize because I understand this is just her job and she has nothing to do with it, but sometimes you can constantly be backed into a corner till you're tired, and frustrated. Because at my house, I am the one that fixes the problems. And if I can't fix it, I've got to turn to you guys,
I think maybe we could include some work from Callan whenever we do it isn't just sidewalks and improvements, it's also drainage improvements on this 2025 money. And perhaps get Callan, when they put bid packages out, to have the contractors look at the drainage coming from that area, which is just east of where the shelter is proposed to be built. And see what they come up with. They've got to survey it anyway, and shoot some elevations and see what we do to help that area.
I'm not familiar with the property as well.
Right behind us, next block over.
Right, next block over.
Where we're proposing to build the new shelter.
Right.
The park, it's
Yes.
kind of east and a little north of that,
Yes.
in the next block.
Okay. Yeah, we could look at that as part of looking at the drainage in the area, because we're gonna have to figure out where the water's coming.
We gotta do something for the drainage around the new shelter that we're gonna put in.
Mhm.
And, maybe we can go another block and help this lady out.
Okay. We can look into that.
How soon will you be able to let us know something?
How soon?
Yeah.
I was hoping you guys would sign the contract tonight. and
Well,
we'd
shit,
get a
let's
notice
sign
to
it, get her
proceed,
taken care of.
And we'll get started on it, and kind of schedule the survey and
Okay.
start next week or the following week.
Okay.
In the next 2 weeks.
Normally, the county puts our culverts in. Normally. I don't know if Tom Raines is still down there or not.
He's still there.
Is he?
Yes. Still the county engineer.
I can call him tomorrow and see if we can get something all the way down that street.
Because when I first came, that water ran down the street that way, on down that way, and stuff. And like even my dad agreed, down there at the very end of the street, there was a culvert where it went under, I guess, the street on, because how can the water run uphill? It's gonna run downhill, and stuff. And the other people on the other side of the street aren't complaining because they got ditches so deep that, you know.
That we can't walk through them or roll them.
And then next to me there, they're not complaining because nobody's been there for almost 10, 12 years, you know. So it's me that's suffering right there on the block. And, you know, the older lady that I talked to, you know, she goes, I would come to it and talk to him. She goes, because I keep on talking to him. And they've done some things, I guess, cut the tree or done some things in her backyard, but still haven't solved the problem because that shed her husband worked in to rebuild lawnmowers for a side, you know, after he retired, job is ruined to where she's gonna have it tore down because that water sitting there has ruined the bottom of it, just like it's ruined that shed out there by my, you know, back by my house there. It's ruined the bottom of it to where now I am left up to, I've gotta take care of that myself, and, you know.
You wanna make a motion, Roger, to incorporate that with what they're gonna do?
Well, I make a motion that we involve Cowan Construction into including in their bid package a survey from this contractor.
Can they do that? I mean, if it's not in the grant?
I believe so, because the grant, you know, the money that we're spending is for improvements, sidewalk and drainage improvements.
Well, we tried to get, okay.
But they're just making a recommendation that we're not, we'd have to follow through with another contract.
Just don't anybody tell.
So more or less, what are you guys saying here? I need to come next month?
Hopefully we'll have a situation by then, he gets it surveyed and find out what we need to do and we can get on it.
Cause next month I'll be here.
Cause it's gonna be raining.
I'm gonna have trouble with getting here, you know, cause like I said, I'm getting ready to have another surgery.
I had requested some culvert work over there, but
Yeah,
county hadn't done anything.
right, and I understand, and that's why one time I mentioned to you, or I mentioned to Glenda, maybe do I need to try to start getting Tulsa County involved in this, since I'm in Tulsa County, you know?
That's who
But-
he's talking to.
That's who I asked.
That's what I'm saying, even though you asked, you know, maybe is more people, do I need to get maybe go around and get a petition, you know, from other people, like the older lady that can't come, you know, and,
You probably need more petitions than you'll find people signing, more people.
yeah, cause nobody's wanting to sign it unless they're having that problem, you know.
That'd be
Everybody in Sperry has.
Yeah.
Right, but not like what it was.
Yeah.
You know, if we had that ditch like we did, it
Okay,
was taking care of it.
I guess we'll try to go the direction that Roger mentioned.
Would you, okay,
And I'll second the motion.
okay. He made a motion to include that, include a recommendation from,
Or get Cowan to look at it anyway.
Birch,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Winsman,
Yes.
Eaton,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Butler wasn't able to make it.
Were we supposed to get, on that big, were we supposed to get the contract signed?
For Mr., yep. Right there. I believe you're, on page your.
Try to get past your bedtime.
So, are we done? Okay, thank you.
And thank you for coming again.
You're welcome. I'll keep on it. Put your coat on, sweetheart.
Sorry, I should have got that signed.
That much money, he'll wait 5 minutes.
And this is a different Mr. Butler, by the way. The discussion and possible action related to drainage problem on Cherry Street where his property is located. And he's not here, so.
This is same Mr. Butler that had the vibrations in his house.
Tommy Butler.
But it's the same case of people filling ditches in. You can't fill a ditch in, expect the drainage to stay open. Okay, item 16, Deborah Birch, discussion possible action related to the following. A is recommendation that the town attorney be present during all executive sessions.
I attended that newly elected officials meeting at Stillwater, and after reviewing the very large notebook that they gave us and listening to the attorney that spoke to us, one of her recommendations was that the town attorney attend all executive sessions. I did talk to Jeff about that, and he said that's fine with him. He didn't have a problem with it coming in.
Thank you, Bill.
The Part B here, the recommendations for conducting executive sessions. I was talking with Jeff, and the attorney there recommended that the trustee board select a clerk to kind of summarize what was discussed in executive session, put it in an envelope, seal it, lock it up somewhere so if there was a question 6 months down the road as to what the actual bid was or something, it could be found. Jeff has a little problem with that. He said, really, we don't need to have that, and he would rather that we not write anything down as far as what's discussed in executive session, and that when you come out, when you do, we were in executive session to discuss that, that should cover what they were recommending here. The next one, C, the handling of all communications. C was when we return to our seats after executive session. You have to announce that we are now out of executive session, because for us to vote to come out of executive session violates us voting in executive session.
Good point.
We have to be out of executive session before we can vote. So, and again, that's just something that we can put in the minutes for you to read, that we're officially out of it. The concern about sending emails, texts, Instagrams, tweets, or any other modern form of communication regarding employees of the town of Sperry. What she was talking about was if, let's say, Kelly sends me an email and he says, I don't like this employee, he's done this, this, and this, I have a real concern about him, can I talk to you about it? The minute I open that email from you, it becomes public records. So now if that employee finds out that you've said something about them, they can request all of my emails, texts, anything that you and I may have communicated. So their concern is that we really should be very careful about what we send in emails or texting one another, and those kind of things, because of the fact that it can be open and therefore obtained in open records. And the concern that Jeff had was that if I sent Bill an email saying, can we have an executive session next Wednesday, and he forwarded it to you guys, that becomes an illegal meeting, because it's now been viewed by 5 people, or even 3, if it just went 3. So anyway, Jeff said for us to be very much aware of what we're doing in text and emails. The other thing I think is something that we talked about before, the 3 of us can't be in the same room in close proximity to each other, because if we, in the foyer of the field house, let's say in between basketball games, if you're there or Roger's there and I'm there, and I say to Roger, I hit that pothole again on Main Street. Well, because there's 3 of us, that violates the open meeting, because we're discussing town business. So, I have to tell you a funny story first before we finish here. There was an older man sat in front of me, and when she was going over the fact that you can't have 3 together, he was so upset. And he turned around and he said, I come from a small town and there's only 2 churches. And somebody's gonna tell me I can't sit next to somebody in my own church when I'm worshiping God. And I mentioned that to Jeff, and he said, you know, if the town is that small, they're probably not gonna file agreements. You know, the three of them are sitting there in church together, but he was just livid that she would tell him
But
where
you know,
he
about
could.
5 years ago, that very same thing happened in Wasso, and there was a big
Yeah.
big scandal.
And it was something about innocent. They would say something like, if you're in, the three of you are in the Dollar General, and you say, you know, the street light's out, that's an open meeting, because you're discussing town issues. So, anyway, Jeff, you know, he said, we just need to be careful when we're all out together, right? And I said, yes, we will be careful. The last thing is the update on the employee personnel manual. I did meet with the employee manager from the Owasso City and went over some of the issues in our personnel manual, and the one we were concerned about was the health care. Because we have one employee approaching 65 and hers is $900 a month, and the gentleman who's over 65, we're paying over $900 a month on his insurance. And according to the federal law, Federal Age Discrimination Act, I think it might be in your packet, it's on here, it basically says that you cannot prohibit them from taking your insurance. Employers are prohibited from dropping that individual from the employer's group health plan without violating the Federal Age Discrimination Act. Individuals over 65 must be offered health benefits that are equal to benefits offered to other employees. However, that is not the case with retirees. So
a person that's retired, and I know of one case in particular, because him and I have talked about it, he can turn it down, can he? I mean, he doesn't have to
he can
take
turn it down.
We have to offer it to him.
Right.
But in this case, if he turns it down, then we don't have to pay the 900 or 1,000
In fact,
a month.
he no longer is a member of our insurance.
Okay. Okay. But anyway, that's what they said. The other part of that was offering compensation for employees that do not take health insurance. She said Owasso City Management does not do that. So, anyway, just to update you, since we had tabled several things, to let you guys know where we stood on that. She did send me the entire copy of their personnel manual, and we're looking at how it compares to what we've got to maybe update ours, because Jeff said it had been a while since ours had been updated. And then we'll just bring it in as one large package to be reviewed and then updated.
The only thing about this on here is on the conducting executive sessions. The OML, which is our governing body, suggested that's what we do.
See, and I don't know why, Jeff was just real concerned about it.
But that's what they suggested to us, so, I mean, they're our governing body, and they tell us what to do, so they told us to start taking minutes in executive session, so I think that's what we should do.
To be sealed and.
Yeah, to be sealed, and.
How about at the next meeting, when Jeff's here?
Okay, that'd be fine.
We can ask
Yeah.
him, you know, can you, tell us again why you don't wanna do that? And then it can be something as simple as just saying, we discussed a bid of $96,000. And that's all you have to put in there. You don't have to say who said what, or who, did this. It just needs to be something where if we don't remember how much was it we were gonna take as a bid, we can go and unlock. We'd have to have Glenda get a locked file cabinet. And,
The problem I have with that is, you guys are not supposed to be making decisions in the executive session.
no, but it's just the numbers that were discussed. And then when we come out, see, then he would say, we decided to accept a bid of $96,000. So I think that's why Jeff was saying it's doing double duty,
My
So-
problem with that is it's not gonna stay secret, because it says, maybe only two people have access to it.
Mhm.
That's today. When my office changes, when you guys' office changes, there's gonna be other people that will have access to it.
No, because there's only supposed to be 2 keys.
I know, but
Oh.
the personnel's gonna change.
Yeah.
Well, we'll know if they open it up.
Yeah,
If it's
because-
sealed, we'll know who, somebody opened it up, who's got the
It
key.
has to be sealed with the person's, you know how you put your name on the seal of the envelope so that you can't
So
match it back up?
dramatic.
I can give you some evidence too, if you try to tear that.
Yeah,
off
we
the
do
back,
evidence,
we'll
too.
straight up rip everything in there.
Anyway, we'll see what Jeff has to say next time. I don't mind, if we select somebody to be the clerk in there to just summarize what was discussed.
If we can find you someplace to lock it up if you want to.
Okay. And that's all I have, just those updates.
Thank you, Deb.
Item 17, discussion, review, and possible action regarding driving in town vehicles outside city limits.
What is our policy on driving the vehicles outside the city limits? What is our policy on that? When they're not on duty? I mean, when they're not on an emergency call or anything, what is our policy?
You talking about the police department
Yes.
or everybody?
Well, any of our vehicles, but mainly the police department, 'cause that's the complaint I got. Somebody, on January the 30th at 11 o'clock, from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I got 3 or 4 calls from John Q. Public asking me why this was going on. That's one of our police cars is parked at Waffle House on Saturday morning.
That was because they were over there shooting, some of our guys were over shooting with, also getting qualified. And then after they got done shooting, they just went across the street and ate and then come back to town.
Who was on duty that day?
Justin Talk and me were both here that day.
Well, what's our policy?
The policy is simply that as long as it's 15 minutes or 15 miles within Sperry, you're allowed to go there. As long as
Okay.
you're there for a valid reason,
Okay.
you're allowed to be there.
Well, what if they're, like I say, one of the officers told me he goes home for lunch in Owassa.
Who, Justin Talk?
Yeah.
I guess he's the only one that lives in Wilson.
I mean,
I can
why?
address that because I don't agree with that one. I didn't know he was doing that.
Well, it's just that, people tell me they see these cars all over town. And
But if you're allowed
they
to
wonder what the
take-
policy is.
You're allowed to take the car when you go to represent Sperry
Yes.
to do your
Yes.
shooting and stuff like that, right? So then if the Waffle House is across the
Well,
street, yeah, you
what I'm
have
saying though is,
breakfast on your way back
What,
to town.
what are they doing on business when they're in line at Kendall's or they're parked at Walmart? I get all kinds of calls, people wondering, why do I see this Sperry police car everywhere? So I just want to know, is this a written policy or just folklore? Do we have that written down anywhere, what our policy is?
15 miles, 15 minutes?
15 minutes, or 15 miles, 15 minutes, it should be in the, I think I've seen it before, in the policy, the police department policy. As well as the employee manual, I believe.
How much time do they get for lunch?
We don't have a set time because you could be eating lunch and
Get a call?
get a call. There's not a police department around, so they have a set time. As long as it's not excessive as how most policies are written.
Is Justin living farther than the 15 miles?
No, he lives, I believe it's 9.5 miles away.
Well, who's watching the town when he goes to lunch in Owassa? Who's, when he's on duty and he goes to Owassa for lunch, who's minding the store?
He would be on call with that.
Yeah, but what if he has an emergency call while he's on duty and he's sitting at his dinner table at home eating lunch? How's that
I
gonna?
just said I can address that.
Well, I know, but still though, even driving anywhere, Like I say, people call me all the time and say, I'm tired of seeing these vehicles everywhere. What's the purpose of? Somebody called me and said, I saw a Sperry vehicle at Quick Trip in Sand Springs. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't, what do you want me to ask? I said, well, why is he there? Why are they driving? You made a statement that the Sperry police cars were getting too many miles on them. That's why we needed another one. Well, are they using these for personal vehicles or what?
No, they're not using it for personal
Well,
vehicles, but
How come one vehicle has 1,000 miles more than the rest of them do on the gas mileage every month?
just probably whoever's patrolling more.
Well, why doesn't everybody patrol? Shouldn't everybody have about the same amount if they all patrol?
Everybody uses different patrol methods, just as the state gives you, you're allowed to do. You're allowed to go sit and run radar or sit on one side of the town. He just likes to drive around.
That's good. That's what he should be doing, patrolling the streets besides, but, I think we need to have a policy.
I don't have a problem addressing these issues, but I need better times and dates rather than he was in Sand Springs
Well,
one day.
Were you all doing training on January the 30th in Owasso?
January 30th. What time and,
Well, 11 o'clock in the morning.
is that the Waffle House that was in?
That was what, that first call I got was at 11 o'clock. So were you all doing training that day?
They were training in Owasso.
January 30th.
How many?
Saturday morning at 11
Yes,
o'clock.
they went with Michael Barnes, the firearms instructor at Owasso.
Well, like I say, we need to get some kind of policy in writing because I'm getting tired of getting bombarded with these calls. People go, why did I see that car there? Why did I see? You know, they complain they gotta have more police cars and then they're sitting over there. That's, you know, that's what John Q. Public wants to know. Because somebody sent
But
me
I don't
this.
see them here complaining.
Well,
They
because,
don't
because that's why they're afraid to come up here and complain. Sure they are. Yeah.
Well, the next time they call you, tell them that we are a friendly trustee board. They are more than welcome to come up here and sit and talk to us.
I've told them that. I
Okay.
try to get people to come all the time. And they say, well, I gotta work at night, or, you know,
age-old problem.
I'm afraid of being, you know.
But, you know, we welcome them here. if they-
I try to get people to come all the time, you know, that's my thing, I said, if you want, you know, you gotta come up and be heard.
Can we please find the personnel manual sometime over the next couple of weeks? Let's see what it says as far as personal vehicle, and bring it in and let's take a look at it and see how it's written, and we can get copies made. Okay. That's what I'd like to see done.
Okay, so no action on that.
Well, the only action we're gonna have is that we're gonna have him
Get the policy.
get the policy manual and bring it up and see if it needs to be updated.
Item 18, discussion and possible action regarding purchase of GPS global positioning system for town vehicles.
That would take care of a lot of this, somebody calls it, makes money, well, what's the time and date? And we look and say, no, you were wrong, that wasn't our car, or, there was in Tulsa not too long ago, a woman stole a police car, and that's how they found it, was through GPS.
I think it's a real expensive
I
thing
was
to
not
do.
that.
Have you checked on the price?
I talked to somebody, I ain't got the figures, I'll get the figures, but
Okay, we're not talking about GPS here, you're talking about GPS tracking. That's
Right.
a different thing.
well, whatever,
It costs thousands of dollars
Well-
to do it.
I tried to look that up, Tetra, I think's the name of the company.
Is that
And then
another
once you fill
police
out-
department thing, or is that
Yeah.
every fire truck, every
GPS
super
tracking,
vehicle?
and there was a whole lot of stuff I had to fill out.
Because I could have the same amount of questions for Susan driving their vehicles.
sure, I mean, it's for everybody, you know, concern everybody. What are we gonna do if they go out and have a wreck because they're going to lunch, and they're, you know,
Still covered under policy.
right, but they weren't, you know, or on their days off, they're at the drive-in at Kendall's, they have a wreck, are we responsible for that?
Who's on their day off at Kendall's?
I don't know, I just told somebody called, somebody said, hey, I was behind in line at Kendall's today, and there was a police car in front of me.
Is it teletrack?
Yeah.
I've been to Kendall's twice in the past month and a half, and both of them were legitimate cases where prescription fraud had taken place.
At Kendall's?
Yeah, there's somebody got their prescriptions taken to beer and Sperry, and somebody was trying to refill them up there.
Well, I don't know, that's just what people tell me, so
It's not,
it'd be a solution to the problem, I'll get some prices on it, but I've heard it's not that expensive. Like I say, it'd save us some headache.
I couldn't tell you, I only got halfway through filling out park.
I'll call and get some prices.
Well, I think having a written policy on, you know, vehicles and where they're allowed to go and when they're allowed to go would probably be good.
I think I'd rather spend the money on a couple of pieces of paper for a policy manual than I would.
And if
going
we
out
don't
and
have
every
one,
one of these vehicles, we'd have to do all of the police, all of the fire, all of Sousa, is yours a city-owned vehicle?
all the fire department,
No, is yours a city-owned vehicle?
No.
No, okay.
I,
So, I mean,
We
we'd
just
have to
put radars in all of them, how, they can't be more expensive than radars. We spent
Yeah, I
$3,000
still, I come
putting
down to the
radars in.
fact that
I think you'll find it to be cost prohibitive, but I would welcome you looking up and see
Yeah,
what it
I
costs.
just, I can't see spending money.
2 months
Something
ago,
like
they asked for $40,000 for a police car, so we've got the money.
Okay,
And we
my question,
appropriated
okay, let's get this
18,000.
on the table then.
That was a grant.
The only reason you're
Doesn't
wanting
know
the
what he's
GPS is so that you can keep track of the police
No,
department
I'm
where
not.
they're going.
Well, that'll take care of a lot of problems. People
If
call
we
in and
write,
complain.
okay, if we write up a policy that says you can't go in that town
Right.
car more than, what was it? 15 miles.
15 miles.
15 miles or 15 minutes, then that takes care of it. And if we get a call that somebody says, there's a policeman down in Sand Springs, and we don't get documentation on it, then yes, I expect you to write his little tush up,
Absolutely.
okay?
Right up for-
But
Well, don't we have body cameras?
Yeah, we have body cameras.
Well, we'll start,
Okay.
we'll get a complaint, we'll find
So,
out the car
no,
number, and we'll
this
find
is-
out who's in there, and we'll check their body camera.
this is just
Your body
simply,
camera doesn't run
trying to
24/7.
figure out where the
It's
police
not
are.
feasible. Not enough recording time nor battery power to run it 24/7.
When you guys go out on a call, you turn it on.
Anytime we get dispatched for a call out on traffic stop or anything, we
You
activate
activate
it
it,
and then turn it
okay.
back off after the call.
Okay.
That it?
You probably need to make a note that Gary's gonna check into the purchasing price.
Well, we need a motion then. We're gonna have Gary look into
Do you need a motion for that?
the purchase price. I don't think so.
No, if he's gonna look into that,
Table it until
Just-
next month.
report back.
Okay. Item 19, consideration of appropriate action related to appointment of Sousa board member to fill the vacancy left by the resignation of John Cloud. And previously in the Sousa board meeting, we decided to ask for resumes or
A request from
a request from those people to be board members.
Okay.
I understand you might have somebody.
I do, Sammy Remington, I don't know if you guys know him, Sammy Remington's son.
I don't know.
He is in his 30s, he's lived, been a long time Sperry resident, family history here. And he just said if you guys couldn't find anyone that would be interested, that, he is interested in getting involved in the town and in, working with Sousa. So, I will tell him that we'd like to see a resume. And who are they supposed to submit it to, or
Letter of request
letter of request?
to be considered for the board.
And who, to Camden? Since it's
That'd be
Sousa?
appropriate.
Okay, and did you guys, since I missed the meeting, did you guys set a deadline
No,
for that?
we did not.
Well, we need to get somebody in here with them.
And I'm
Is it
sorry I
3
missed that
months? 3
meeting,
months or
we had
6
parent
months?
teacher conferences tonight, so.
That's it, that's
3 months or something like
it.
that. Okay, vote to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Birch,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Winsman,
Yes.
Eaton,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Make a motion for the audience to adjourn.
Mr.
I can't
Johnson, don't
adjourn.
let